Shannon and I recently sat down with Mihok from the hit series Ray Donovan.
It's one of your favorites, isn't it?
You know I love that show.
Take a look.
Our next guest plays a troubled, drug-addicted brother on Ray Donovan, one of the hottest shows on television.
That's right, and you'll also know his face from films like Silver Linings Playbook, Romeo and Juliet, and The Thin Red Line. Mihok, welcome to Arise 360.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, this is one of our favorite shows on television. I told you earlier that I've been binge watching up until 5:30 in the morning, so we're so happy to have you here.
Well, you look really good for being up till 5:30. Just saying.
It's all in the makeup, baby. It's all in the makeup. But let's talk about this show. Did you have any idea that it would be such a colossal hit?
I didn't know it was going to be a hit. I just knew that it was a really well-written script, and we have a really talented group of actors and a talented writing staff, and you know, we're just fortunate that people really took to it.
And for those who don't watch the show, I don't know who that person is, but for that one person who doesn't watch the show, it's about a Hollywood fixer, and essentially his job is to fix the messes of all of the A-listers in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But his own family is a hot mess. And you're his brother. Well, you play his brother. So what's it like to work on that show? And what's the, what's it like to be part of one of the messiest but most watched families on television?
You know, the great thing is that we all really, really enjoy each other, and we all are like family. We hang out after and bring our families together, and you know, I think we all admire each other as actors and want to elevate the script to its highest point possible. So we have a really good time, and you know, just feel blessed to be around that kind of group of people.
Well, your storyline is really deep, Bunchy. I mean, he plays a guy who was molested as a child by a local priest. How did you even begin to research that type of role?
You know, I did a lot of looking up things online, and I spoke to some people who were nice enough to actually come forward and talk to me, some people that this has happened to, and you know, and then you just try to immerse yourself into what it would be like. You know, I always just try to jump in and imagine, you know, what it would be like, which is awkward, but it's so meaty and so juicy and so layered that, you know, you get excited to get to delve into this world, even though it's pretty dark.
So what has the audience reaction been like to your particular storyline? Especially, you know, have you heard from any sexual abuse survivors that have commented on how you're portraying this character?
I actually, I have, and I'm getting some emails, and we were shooting outside a center the other day, a couple weeks back, and there was a woman who was a counselor for sexually abused men, and she just came up to me and she stopped me and she said, "You nailed it," and that to me was, you know, the greatest gift ever.
And we get to see a lot of these characters in group counseling sessions, so it helps demystify this whole notion of therapy and group therapy.
Yeah.
It's I think one of the most important things that the show does, other than entertain.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that this, you know, has ever really been accurately portrayed on television, especially, you know, abuse by the Catholic Church. So I'm Catholic.
How has the church reacted? Because
you know, I haven't heard from anything. I haven't been in a while.
All right, now on to some happier topics. Work on getting you saved later. That's okay. So we also have to talk about Jon Voight. I mean, he's a firecracker. Who doesn't love Jon Voight? What has it been like working with him, and has he given you any wisdom of the trade?
You know, it's just nice to see a very kind man have, you know, and not in a resurgence. I mean, he's always been around, but something, this part that you can just sink your teeth into like no other. And the writing is just so amazing. He's got the greatest lines.
He sure does.
And he just brings his character to life, and he's, you know, it's beautiful and screwed up and tragic, and he's still like a kid, and it's really nice to watch him, you know, embody this epic epic character that I think is going to live in TV history for a while.
Has he given you any tricks of the trade, any advice about career longevity?
Well, yeah, I mean, he always, he has advice for you. I mean, mostly it's like, don't sniff that fake line of cocaine. Like, you should do that one.
That's great advice, actually.
Because, and when we do that, like, how is it gonna, like, maybe should we drink that beer or no? But no, I mean, look, just watching him is a gift, and he's very supportive and very, very into making everything better. So, you just soak it up, being around him.
So what initially drew you to the craft?
Oh, she said the craft.
The craft.
She said the craft.
Is that a bad thing?
He's like,
no,
the craft.
No.
I've been watching my James Lipton behind the actor's studio.
Right. Oh, I know, right? James.
What should I have called it instead of the craft?
No, I'm kidding.
So what drew you to the stage? What drew you to acting? When were you bit by the acting bug?
I don't know.
Which version of that question do you prefer?
He's like, I just don't want to answer it.
My parents were in the theater, and I actually recently found out all my grandfather's lineage. My grandfather he ran a drama school and drama theater, and he actually learned from a student of Stanislavski back in the early days.
Look at you.
And then I found this out 2 days ago, so I'm very excited to share this news. And he actually trained U.S. spies in World War II to be spies for the OSS.
That's awesome.
So maybe it came from there, but I wanted to be a scientist.
Really?
I wanted to be a biochemist. I went to science school. I was kind of geeky, and then I'd always loved to, do the school play, and somebody introduced me to this wonderful agent, my first agent, and I think I did a Law and Order, and I was like, that's it.
The rest is
no
history.
more science.
Wow. All right.
All right. Well, besides acting, you're also a huge advocate for Tourette Syndrome Association. And that's because you were diagnosed with Tourette's as a child.
I was.
How old were you when you were diagnosed, and how did your parents know that that's what you were actually suffering from?
Well, it's hereditary. So my father had it, but it was a very mild case, and my sisters did as well. So I was 6, and they were just kind of waiting and praying that I wouldn't be diagnosed, but it came, and Tourette's is a part of me. It's probably shaped a lot of my acting, because I always tried to act normal and act in a way to get people to like me and hide it and stuff. So I think that maybe part of that upbringing of always trying to be on my toes and watching how everybody was reacting to my Tourette's and sort of studying them maybe was part of the reason that I wanted to do this, or that I'm hopefully good at this.
Now, in the public imagination, Tourette's, people who suffer from Tourette's curse uncontrollably, don't have control of their faculties sometimes. That's clearly not the case. You're sitting before us. So really quickly, separate fact from fiction.
Well, there are people that curse. It's called coprolalia. But the percentage is very small. Okay. And I did it for about, a lot of tics that you have wax and wane. And, the one tic I have all the time is this light thing. I got to look at a light and sort of touch my finger, and which isn't really great when you're in a restaurant and you don't want to, talk to the waiter, because I'm like, and he's like, yes, sir. I'm like, no, I was just.
Something in my eye. Something in my eye.
But not many people have coprolalia, but the media and television itself, they portray everybody as it's fun and it's glossy. So.
How do you manage? Are you on medication or anything?
I haven't been on medication since I was about 17, and normally with Tourette's, they around 5 to 7 is when you're diagnosed. And then they get really bad around 12, which is rough because that's when kids are kind of brutal. Yeah. And then around 18 or post-puberty and into adulthood, for a lot of people, it subsides a little bit. So mine aren't as bad, and I'm able to control them, and you get used to knowing how to deal with them. And the great thing about acting is that when I'm on camera, I never tick because I'm so involved. So when people like Tim Howard, you know, he's a goalkeeper for the USA, you never see him tick because the camera's never on him when the ball's on the other side of the pitch.
Got you.
So he's probably ticking, and then when he's so focused on stopping the ball, we don't. When our mind and physical are completely immersed in what we're doing, we don't tick. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air.
I'm glad you're bringing awareness to this. It's so important. Learn so much.
Okay, so season 2 of Ray Donovan is in full swing. Will there be a season 3, please?
Fingers crossed.
Yes, and will I have to binge watch and stay up till 5:30 in the morning every night? So.
I trust. We haven't gotten the official word. I mean, by public opinion, well, I'd say yes, but you never know.
All right, well, in the meantime, we'll keep our eye on Showtime.
Are you acting now, or do you really know?
I promise you would have read it online.
Okay, all right. Well, when season 3 does come back, you got to come back, okay? All right.
100%.
Thank you so much for being here.
You're watching Arise Entertainment 360.